I made it. I've done it. Oh! Okay, so where do I start? How did I even get into this? If you're new on this channel, I'm a mom of two. I've got a 11-year-old daughter and a 6-year-old little boy. And my daughter, Arielle, has been attending a theater school for over a year now. And their latest play was Little Mermaid. And she got Ursula. And oh my goodness, I was so excited for her. It was a bigger role. It was something that suited her so well. And I was just so excited to make the tentacles, the dress. I really wanted to make that, and I wish I kind of filmed that and showed you that, but it's probably gonna be coming up on shorts or reels. But anyway, I was just so excited, and actually their teacher asked me to make some props because I'm quite crafty. I enjoy doing those things. I also own a lot of things that you can upholster with, and all the different paints and things, and I just enjoy doing that. And so we had this little table that was just kind of sitting. I actually gave it to the theater teacher, and I've seen this little idea on Pinterest of turning this table into Little Mermaid's kind of underwater, place where she gathers all her stuff. Now, later on, I realized that the mirror and all that should have actually been with Ursula. But doesn't matter, okay? It still worked out. And I started off with this plain white table, and you know what, kind of just made it up as I went along. I am the best at doing just that. So let me talk you through how very easily, with a low cost, you can do that as well. So now looking back, I probably would advise you to paint the whole desk the color that you want, unless you're looking for a more distressed look. Mine was more distressed underwater, so it didn't really matter. And I am also very impatient. I probably have ADHD or ADD. Like, I just need to get going with things. I hate planning things. I hate drawing the plans. I just need to do it, and it always works. So something that I've used an absolute ton of during making all those props was expanding foam. If you're making anything underwater themed, expanding foam is your best friend. You can get a big can for around £9, sometimes cheaper depending where you go, and it does go a long way. But if you're making a lot of it, you probably will need more. But as you're seeing on screen right now, I've actually started by adding expanding foam to this bits of wood I had laying around, and those bits of wood were to be attached behind the table to kind of make it bigger, so the table's not just little, it is going on stage. It needs to be visible. If you're making anything for a theater, for like a kids play, try to make things bigger. People are not going to see the tiny little details. I mean, obviously people say the devil's in the detail, but I would just stick to bigger things. So I was just going to attach those bits to the back of it to kind of make it bigger and more underwater-y. So that was actually my first time experience using foam this way. I've seen it in Edinburgh at the Halloween thing a few years ago. They've used it to make toxic waste, and it looked absolutely amazing. So what I'm doing here is putting the foam all around my little bits, and that was supposed to create kind of like a coral effect, which as I went doing it, I decided it needs more oomph. I knew I was going to be painting it, but it needed something more. So I added seashells, real seashells, and also big glittery seashells that I kind of happened to already have in my crafty stash. As I said previously, I have a lot of craft stuff and a lot of random things. So I literally had a lot of the things you're going to see me putting on this table, including this frame. This was a plastic frame that was originally white, had a crack, had no back to it, no glass to it, like nothing. And I remember thinking I need to get rid of it, but thank God I stopped myself because I thought the shape is beautiful. It might come in handy one day. And that was the day. The frame that I sprayed gold, because the gold, she's finding all this stuff in the ocean. It needs to be nice and gold and sparkly for the stage. So I sprayed it with gold spray paint. It fits perfectly. It's like it's made for the size of that mirror on top of a table. So I just stuck it down with, you guessed it, expanding foam. I find that expanding foam not only is effective, but you can use it as kind of like a bonding thing in between things, because it is so hard to get off once you've got things embedded in it. So as my back pieces were drying and the foam was expanding, it took probably about half an hour to be touch dry, and then you leave it obviously further to kind of fully expand. I decided to add some of it to the edges of a table, to kind of soften them up so she doesn't have this like just very square like table under the sea. I was looking where to place my little wooden beds. There were very random shapes. Obviously, if you're more adventurous, you can use a router and kind of cut them into different shapes, but mine worked out actually the way I wanted it. And as I said, I am very impatient. I like doing things fast. They always work work out. Sometimes it looks a mess as I do it and it looks so chaotic, but trust me, every time I do something, it pulls together in the end and it looks really good. So after I decided where I want them and I drilled them onto my unit, I decided to paint the whole table. And this is the paint that I bought probably a year or two ago for a bathroom. And then I realized, why did I want to paint the bathroom blue? And it was a perfect shade of blue. And I did immediately regret that I did not paint it earlier. I also thought, oh, it's gonna take so long to paint all the foam. But I realized that when I actually just brush it on the foam and it leaves the white in between, it looks perfect. It looks like underwater sea foam or, you know, coral. It looked so nice. So I decided to paint the whole table and all the foam, and I started to see the whole thing coming together. I did realize that the shells weren't standing out enough. You could see them up close, but again, being on stage, it wasn't so visible. So I decided to give them a spray of gold paint as well. And it kind of pulls it together with the mirror. And now you can start seeing the whole thing coming together. Now the fun part, which is like decorating and putting little things on. Obviously, being a prop on a stage, it needs to be easily moved. So I've also attached some little wheels. I've measured with my finger very professionally how big of a metal bit it needs to be on a wheel. And it made it so much easier for the people to move it onto the stage and take it back off. Now time for the most exciting part, which is putting all the thingy-mabobs on Arielle's table. And this is all the stuff that, again, I've gathered over the years. I bought for my own house and kind of didn't need anymore and thought that this would just fit so much better here. So we've got loads of little things. We've got glow-in-the-dark little stones. We've got a little old brolly. We've got a really cool clock. We've got more shells. We've got a candlestick holder. I've got loads of them, actually. We've got some boxes. I even had a picture of like a seashore, and also I had a little picture with like a little shell art inside. Like, how perfect is that? Like little details that maybe people in the audience wouldn't see, but I know they're there, and I think it looked absolutely amazing. Again, everything was attached with expanding foam, and nothing budged. And the table made it to a theater on its back at the back of somebody's van. And when I was watching them like lay it down, I was like, everything's gonna fall off, but nothing fell off. Everything stayed together. Even the clock that I had to like glue the glass on top of a clock, it's like a dome clock, that stayed. Everything stayed. Nothing smashed. It made through the whole weekend of shows, and I am just so happy how it worked out, because all together it looked so good. I've added some chicken netting I had lying around, or like garden netting. I don't know. It's not chicken wire. It's a garden and net thing for your veggies. That's kind of like under the sea thing, and some rope, and you know, just whatever is lying around, you can stick onto it. If it doesn't look under the sea enough, give it a spray, you know, some kind of corally colors or maybe some gold, and literally everything looked like she just found it at the bottom of a sea, and it looked absolutely perfect. I made it. I've done it. Oh! Okay, so the Little Mermaid thingy-majig table is done. I really hope the audio is good because it's so echoey here. And it's being picked up today, so I'm just making sure nothing's gonna come off. Okay, well, hopefully the children won't be yanking on it, but it is all pretty sturdy, and that's the whole idea, because it's on wheels, so it can be wheeled on the stage and off the stage, and hopefully nothing should come off. Everything's set in stone. Okay, so as you can see, we've got the whole top, which is made out of just some random bits of wood I found around. And I can't believe that this table has literally been transformed from like little girl's little vanity to this amazing thing. Like, look how cute it looks. The frame was a frame that I already had, and it's just been laying around waiting with no mirror, nothing in it, no glass. It's plastic and actually had a split somewhere, and I just felt too bad to kind of bin it. And look at it, it looks amazing when it's painted, and it fits the mirror perfectly. We've got all those little things, little thingy-majigs. I did have to put expanding foam under those guys. It kind of looks like they're sitting on a bed of gold, which works because when I used only hot glue, it was coming off. So it would only take one kid to kind of touch it and it would come off, and it needs to be all set the same as the clock. It's not gonna move now because the first time I picked it up again, there wasn't enough expanding foam. I swear expanding foam is my best friend right now. Like, this whole thing is put together, obviously by wood and some screws, but A lot of the things are being glued on with expanded foam, which also looks like it's kind of under the sea theme. Don't mind the dogs, they're kind of always with me. We've got the little boxes with a frame at the bottom. I kind of thought that adding this little panel at the bottom will, you know, just add more width to the whole thing. And over here, where it's like totally overlit, is not my dog's bum, but we've got some random things too. Actually, I'll just take you off the tripod. So we've got expanded foam, some rope, you know, all these textures. It's all about the textures. Like, and the glitter, look at the glitter sparkling on the shells. Like, that's gonna look so good when it's on stage. It's all really, like, all of it together just looks amazing. I think it really comes together. I think the whole lot looks so good together. I love it, but maybe it's also because it's my favorite colors, because it's gold and blue, and I absolutely love that kind of color. So I'm so excited for them to see it, and hopefully it stays in one piece. I had to secure this guy as well. He was only hot glued in the beginning, so he does have little things with screws, which, you know, up close not too pretty, but it will be from further away. So we've got all the shells. I've added some netting that I literally loosely just put on, because the whole idea is that, you know, Arielle's gathering things and they're kind of sitting around, and this I've had in a loft for so long, and again I think it just looks so good with it, because it's one of those random things you would find under the sea. I wish I had a brush or a fork, you know, the one she uses for her hair, but I'm hoping they're gonna have it. If not, I'll see if maybe charity shops will have something like this. But yeah, I'm pretty chuffed with it. And also, to go with that today, I have made other things. So I made those. You might be asking, what is it? Basically, I got given those, can I hold it? Those flowers, and I got asked if I can make something for the front of the stage, kind of like two things, because there's like two bunches of those. And I thought it would be cool to make something like this. I'm not sure if it's a rock, if it's coral, but two of them will be at the front of the stage, you know, kind of setting the scene for Under the Sea. So we've got two of those. They're pretty similar. And I am actually about to start making bigger ones, because those ones are for the front of the stage. And then I'll be making ones for the back of the stage. So big ones with pool noodles. I'll be filming that too. But let me show you closer how this looks. And believe me that in real life, it looks better. It looks better. I actually had a very intrusive thought of like doing some glittery stuff on it last night, but then I thought I don't want to overdo it. Anyway, hopefully the light is not throwing you off too much. I mean, it adds to the underwater thing. But again, expanding foam on top of cardboard. I've used cardboard bubble wrap, kind of did the random shape and then covered it with expanding foam. I have used different paints to kind of give it shade. I've noticed that I really like the white of the foam. So I kind of brushed it with a brush and left some of the white. There's darker tones, lighter tones. Those flowers are popped in. A lot of the things that are on it are also things that the theatre group already had donated. So those were the things that you make little dresses out of. So I cut them into strips to make kind of like mossy looking things. This sunshine might actually not be very great. I've had all this kind of diamante looking things. I never knew what I'm going to use them for. So I've popped them kind of like a treasure. There's also a lot of greenery that actually is from fish tanks. You can see that one here. This is something you put in your fish tank and it's just adding to it so nicely. And we've got tulle. This was a very last minute thought to do some kind of coral looking thing. So just to add more warmer tones. So we've got one here, got one at the side. The other guy has it too. He's got a slightly different aquarium plant, which is nice because, you know, then they look kind of different. It really looks good. Like it's gonna look so good on stage at the front, and it obviously matches the table. So together they look so good. Can't believe I literally just walked around the house kind of moving it to have the best setup to show you, and the sunshine decided to come into a lobby, and I swear this lobby is the dark room in the house, and the sunshine's like hello. So I wish I could show it to you outside, but it is being picked up and it's not going to be very good if I just put it outside and I'm like, hi, your things are outside. But yeah, it doesn't fit in our car, and sadly I can't take it apart. If I take it apart, it will kind of ruin other things that are attached to it. But I'm so happy how it turned out, and I can't wait to get on with other things. I've started on Ursula's cauldron. I am doing Triton's throne, and yeah, it kind of shows you that not that much is needed when you already have certain things. You know, like one tub of paint will do most of those props. The pricey thing is the expanding foam, because it is £10 a bottle,
and you do use a lot, but for under the sea, it looks amazing. I think it looks really good.
Okay, so that's it for my Little Mermaid table. This was one of many props I've made. I did film other things, but not for a big video like this. It'll be on the reels on Instagram or on the shorts on YouTube. I've made big corals. I've made Ursula's cauldron, everything with expanding foam, because it just fits the theme of under the sea, underwater so well. It just looked so good, and everything was just so magical, and it was so nice to see everything in the theater lights. And you know, later on it was used for like a little photo shoot for the kids in their costumes. It just looked so good, and I am so happy I pulled it off, because some of the things I was still doing the day before the show, or was it on the day of the show, which was absolutely last minute and crazy, but yeah, it was really fun, and I loved seeing my daughter on stage singing her first big number in a play. It just looked so amazing. She suited the role so well. If she allows me, which she probably will, probably show you some clips later on in the videos or something with her singing, but it all looked so amazing, and I hope you can take some inspiration if you're making a prop, something for your room, for a birthday party, whatever it is. The rule I kind of go by is you cannot mess anything up. Like, just keep going. Everything's fixable. Nobody knows what your plan was in the beginning, and I personally work the best as I do things. I have to start them, and then I'm like, oh, I could add this. Oh, I could paint that. You know, planning beforehand, to me, it just never works. It never works. I need to see things. So that's why I just jumped straight into the expanding foam, and then I realized how many things I can make out of it and how great it was looking. That's it for today's video. If you're not subscribing yet, I would love if you just click that button. We are trying to get to 10,000 followers, and it would be subscribers, 10,000 subscribers, and it would be so amazing if we hit that. Also, if you would like to pop over to our TikTok or our Instagram, we're posting a lot of shorts, reels, whatever they're called there, about everything, about our traveling and Disney and props and just life in general. And it would be really amazing if you did any of those. But if you've managed to watch up until now, thank you so much. It means so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.